At least 681 people arrested since the launch of Operation Zero Crime. Students expressed this concern over lack of knowledge about e-learning. More comment on Gambia 24. Good evening, you're watching Gambia 24 News with me, Mariama Cham, and thanks for joining us. The Gambia Police Force has announced on Monday that at least 681 people have been arrested since launching the Operation Zero Crime campaign. The operation that took place between April 2nd and May 1st, 2021 saw the arrest of some people who were released after they were not found connected to any crime. Khadija Seka reports.
Except for checkpoints and traffic police, there is limited visibility of police presence in the Greater Banjul area and its surroundings. The Gambia 2020 Crime and Safety Report appeared to show that police do not have the ability to respond quickly to crises because of inadequate equipment and resources, such as radios and vehicles, and most of them are not armed. As a reactionary force, Gambian police force cannot maintain large-scale or long-term proactive operations. The property crime rate such as vandalism and theft is at 56.25, and the rate of violent crimes such as assault and armed robbery is at 32.81. In response to increasing crime rates, the police force deployed a joint security high-visibility patrols, targeting criminal hubs within the Greater Banjul area and the West Coast areas. The campaign dubbed Operation Zero Crime is aimed to tackling crime and criminal activities and to dismantle all criminal hideouts. According to the police, since the commencement of the said operations, a total number of 681 people were arrested at various criminal hideouts within Banjul, Kanifing, and West Coast regions. The operations that took place between April 2nd and May 1st, 2021 show the release of 304 people after they were not found connected to any crime, while 119 people were found to be undocumented immigrants. 153 people were found with suspected drugs and subsequently handed over to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency for further investigations. 105 people were charged with various offenses, granting from going armed in public and possession of suspected stolen properties to robbery and escape from lawful custody. The Police High Command assured the public that the conduct of the security personnel shall be strictly within the confines of the law. The police instituted a strong inspectorate unit to regularly supervise and monitor the activities of security personnel in a bid to ensure the protection of the fundamental human rights and the respect of rule of law. Khadija Seka, iAfrica News.
Now, following the launching of iLearn Gambia platform by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, iAfrica TV visited Newsat Senior Secondary School to ask students about how convenient the platform is. As the CC reports, most of these students says they have little or no idea about iLearn Gambia, which they describe as inappropriate.
The iLearn Gambia platform is purposely meant for students to have the opportunity to learn anywhere at any time. However, students at the Newsat Senior Secondary School express concern over lack of knowledge about the platform. According to these students, the Ministry of Education should have talked to the students by raising awareness about the initiative, including how it should be used.
Well, I first of all have to talk on the fact that we should have been enlightened about this, because like me, I'm just hearing of it for the first time. And before such an initiative is to be implemented, students are supposed to be aware of it so that by the time it is implemented or by the time it has been launched, students will be prepared to use it. But right now, most of us are not aware. But I think that we should be enlightened more, and they should also use the social media, since a lot of students are using mobile phones now, so they can use social media on WhatsApp status so that people can be aware of it, and then so that everyone can benefit. And I believe if this is done, a lot of us will be able to benefit from it. And I believe it is one step to take education to its peak in the Gambia.
Whatever initiative they have to come up with, it has to do with students. So before coming up with any kind of initiative. I think the government, they need to come and then enlighten the students, let them be more oriented about it. Then from there, they can go ahead with it. Because you cannot just launch something without the people that it is going to impact. I've not even heard anything about it. So I think the government is a good initiative, to be honest. But like they need to make sure the students are put in the picture, because if you look at it, not everybody can afford what online. Sometimes we know our backgrounds are not the same. So if any form of initiative the government want to come up with, they have to make sure the students are put in the picture, how to go about it. Those that may not have access to it, how are they going to make sure they also have access to it? I think that is the best, yeah, to be honest.
Despite the inclusion of rural students in the island Gambia, Jainaba Jamhe is with the belief that not all students will benefit from the initiative.
Before it, they should have done that before the integration, I guess. Because for us, people like me, we only saw it on TV, on news. It was being shown out there. We know nothing about it. So it's just like something that they have integrated for the student, but the students know nothing about it. It's just for themselves. And maybe let's say if they are, when they are ready, they go around to schools. But I'm 100% sure that not all students are going to benefit from this.
Island Gambia, an online learning platform, was launched by the Education Ministry to serve a resource center for both students and teachers across the country. According to MOPSI, 24 schools were targeted in the country, and teachers who are part of the initiative were trained. The move is geared towards helping students to recover from the time loss caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy Say.
Now, African women in Europe delivered awards to 50 men and women for their achievements despite the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2021 AWE Awards served platform to celebrate and honor talents, achievements, and positive impact of African women and youth in Europe. German-based Gambian journalist Nima Jadam received the award for taking risk and breaking the ground to better up the African economy through her programs. More in this report.
Since 2012, the annual AWE celebrations of awards has recognized women who had significantly brought impact on the economy and their communities. This year, 50 African women and men in Europe received the AWE award for supporting entrepreneurship, employment, education, and health. German-based Gambian journalist and social facility manager Nyima Jadama highlighted some of her activities in Europe that brought her global recognition.
First of all, I'm a social facility manager aside my journalism work. So here we work with homeless people, migrants and refugees. So I'm basically responsible for the office and communication organizing. I do consultations for refugees and migrants and homeless people to find them homes, to help them with their residence permit, guide them to lawyers. I do translation, Mandinka, English, Wall of German, and so on. So I do all of this, and we give them tea, coffee outside. During this Ramadan, I had a project like whole month where we are on the street every day. We give them food to break their fast because, mind you, we have tons of Gambians where I work.
She explained the role of her weekly webinar on the quality of lives of Africans in the diaspora.
I think this has to do with the weekly or monthly webinar that I do with the African women in trade, because they're actually into investment, they're actually into economy, to making the African economy stronger. They did a lot with the Afka tech and all this African economy stuff you could think of. These are super duper exciting women, so energetic, and women that are there that houses like do a lot of exchange programs, mentorship, workshops, and all that. So my engagement with them on this side is by interviewing them, giving them voice, making sure that the public know about what they do, making their voices heard. So I think it has to do with through the economy, aside my other activities.
Nyima is the founder and host of the Nyima's Bantaba TV show in Germany and English languages that she uses to enlighten migrants and refugees across the globe. She is active as a woman and refugee rights activist through public speaking, training, and program development with various organizations in Germany. Khadijatu Seka, iAfrica News.
Eid auction is an important period in the business calendar. It is a busy time for businessmen to capitalize on Gambians looking for bargain clothes, shoes, and other household items for the Eid festival. Fatimata Kasim has visited one of the largest and busiest markets in the country, the Brikama market, to see how people are preparing for the Eid. The vendors complained of lack of enough Eid sales this year compared to the previous years. And here is more.
Idul Fitri or Kawite, as called in Wolof language, Sunkari Salo in Mandinka, is the day Muslims across the world celebrate the end of Ramadan, a month of abstinence from food, drink, and worldly pleasure from dawn to dusk. For this year's sales, things are good for business owners. The flock of the shopkeepers expect for the post, and that business this year's sales is stumped and dull. One of the Mariama had going through, plus the lack of price control in the markets. She urged the government to look at the price control in the Gambia so as to decrease the price to help the less privileged have access to things they need.
Goods are very expensive this year, and there is no money since the COVID-19 started. Sales have not been going well, even though people might want to buy the goods, but they will not have the money to buy it. The business was better during the previous years, but this year, sales have gone down tremendously. There has been an increment in the price of goods. There is no price control. People will just put price on their goods and expect us, the retailers, to buy it like that, and we don't have a choice. That is why even though there is a lot of goods in the market, but there is no money to buy them. We urge the president to help us put a price control in the markets. If not, the less privileged will have no access to goods.
However, another market vendor called Papa said that the rise in price is due to the price in the high exchange rate, especially the CFA. He said the sales were better last year because this year prices are very expensive.
Even though there were restrictions last year was far better than this year. This year, goods are very expensive due to the high exchange rate because we buy our goods from Senegal. So, we urge the president to help us regulate the exchange rate.
Tira Ture, a shopper, said everything is expensive in the market. As a result, they shouldn't lie to each other because there is no discount in the sales.
There is no sale this year. There are materials here, but all are expensive. I came to buy a jean for my kid, but I am unable to buy it because of the expensiveness. Everything is expensive here. For that being the case, we should not hide anything from each other. Let's agree that there is no sale this year. Last year was better than this year. Things are not definitely easy this year.
This time last year, the country was battling COVID-19, and as such, there were no gatherings for prayers, no salibo, and handshakes. Thousands of Muslims in the Gambia were forced to celebrate Idul Fitr, locally called Korite, at their homes, profiting from COVID-19, which resulted in a timetable for sales in the Gambia. For iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
The report by Fatmata Kasim will take us to a quick break, and we will be right back with the rest of the news. Stay with us.
The pride we take in our brand, the work we put into constantly change the landscape and elevate real estate in the Gambia, it's compared to none. From inception, our goal was to add value to the beautiful Gambian landscape. That's why we are proud innovators of community estates. Kololi Sands is an exceptional piece of work, tailored for ultimate convenience and luxury, to bring you an element of finesse that is rare but unique in its own. This is also our pride and joy, and we welcome you to the exquisite beauty right here in Kololi and right here on the waterfront. Kololi Sands, feel the ocean breeze at your doorstep.
Hello, AfriCell people. AfriCell has done it again.
What is it this time?
Simply use your AfriMoney account to buy credit, data, and cash power to get the chance to win up to $500,000.
That is fantastic.
If you don't have an AfriMoney account, Now is the perfect time to get it. Call 777 to activate your AfriMoney account and increase your chances to win up to $500,000.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow. Tired of seeing the message you have insufficient funds in your account? Worry no more. With AfriCell, the cholera credit just got way better.
Now you can continue your conversations with your loved ones. With the new cholera credit, you can now borrow up to $250 credit. Send a blank SMS to 152 to get your cholera credit and activate the service of your choice. For more info, please call 111.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back, and still on Gambia 24. Commuters of the Serekunda market have decried a move by the drivers in the country to increase the transport fares as preparations for Eid al-Fitr are in high gear. The unsatisfied road users have also slammed the traffic congestion in the Serekunda area, especially during the corridor preparations. Binta Fata reports.
The unlawful increment of fares has been ongoing for a long time, with the corridor preparations making matters worse as more people come to the open markets to buy articles for the Eid. Fatmata Keita, a native of New Yundum, says he pays almost $200 to get home.
Transportation in the Gambia here is too critical. Today we want to pay $200 is almost when coming from Yundum to Serekunda. Serekunda to Yundum, you pay about $75 or so. This is simply because vehicles don't really want to reach their various destinations. They will charge you money. This is how they will do this is. An apprentice will come and tell you, I'm going to Latrikunda, charge you. Latrikunda, Tabokoto, they will charge you. Tabokoto, Serekunda, and some of them, they will not even reach the garage. This is very sad indeed. I think the government should look into this.
Ibrahima Jaju, a native of Casamance, Senegal, is of the view that the drivers take advantage of the festive period to increase fares, which he strongly condemns.
I came here, but honest to God, the fare is kind of expensive. From here to Brikama, they are charging you $50. You know that is expensive. They are taking advantage of the feast, I can say, to increase the fares, and that is wrong. Normally, they should help people because of the fasting. There are too many expenses, there is no money, and they know that the coronavirus affects lives. They should leave this and reason. Let them reduce the fares and help people, for God's sake. Here, life is so expensive.
While the public described the actions of drivers as unjustifiable, Asanjan, a driver from Medina Serimas, blamed the situation on the traffic and poor roads in the country, calling on the government to help reconstruct the roads for the benefit of all.
So problem bi buñ ko fogg ne ci driver la. Driver bi mu ngay xol nan la mëna def nit ñi mënu ñoo ñaka dem.
Let's not think the problem is the drivers alone. People will have to travel, and the drivers cannot afford not walking. The drivers will see how he can walk and earn profit and give something to the owner of the vehicle, and for the vehicle to last longer. For instance, if you were going to Brikama in the past, if you were to spend 1 hour, now you will be spending 1 hour 30 minutes or 2 hours. So the driver will be thinking of all this to ensure that he has profit. Usually, customers will only see it as just going, but no matter how difficult it may be, the driver has no right for you to alight. He will have to take you to the agreed destination because you are paying him if he were using 1 liter of fuel. He might be using 3 liters. The government should help us with roads. That is the only problem. If we don't have another highway, let them reconstruct the ones in town so that we can walk fast and our vehicles will not be spoiled.
Increment of fares by drivers supposedly due to the poor roads leading up to traffic congestions force commuters to pay multiple fares or risk being stranded on the streets or garages for hours without a vehicle. For Africa TV News, I am Binta Fati.
And the report by Binta Fati brings us to the end of Gambia 24. I am Mariama Cham. Thanks for watching and to have a good night.